to this afternoon's kind of webinar, where we're kind of focusing on the Glasgow City Innovation District Venture Studio. We're just waiting for a few people to connect in, and we'll then just get started. Welcome everyone again for coming to the today's webinar. Today we're going to be talking about the Glasgow City Innovation District's Venture Studio, and in particular we'll be going to be focusing on the challenge for space data for industry, where we're going to be talking about the first innovation program that we're going to be launching today. Today, I've also got my colleague, Sharon Pryde from Scottish Enterprise, who we are partnering with Scottish Enterprise on the delivery of the first kind of challenge call. And it's great to have Scottish Enterprise and their support in this first part of the Venture Studio. So, I'd like to kind of give you an introduction into the Glasgow City Innovation District. So the Glasgow City Innovation District was created 5 years ago, and it was created 5 years ago to support the development of Glasgow's kind of tech sector and tech economy. It's the first innovation district in Scotland. And since we've been created, there are now 3 innovation districts within Glasgow City region. One over at Glasgow University called the Glasgow Riverside Innovation District, and also the 3rd district that's over towards Glasgow Airport, which is the Advanced Manufacturing District. The programme, GCID in short, is got 5 partners. And those 5 partners support the funding of the Innovation District and its delivery. That includes the University of Strathclyde, which is the anchor organisation. We also have Glasgow City Council, Scottish Enterprise, Entrepreneurial Scotland, and also Glasgow Chamber of Commerce. So we'd like to talk and provide a bit more information on the Venture Studio and just give a bit of insight into why this was established, why it was developed, but also then kind of cover for the rest of this webinar, we'll be focusing in on our first innovation program, which is the kind of challenge pillar, and we'll kind of talk about that in a bit more detail. So the Glasgow City Innovation District Venture Studio is actually funded by Glasgow City Council and UK Government through the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. And this funding has allowed us to create this Venture Studio specifically for focusing in on developing kind of Glasgow's kind of tech ecosystem, but very much focusing in on looking at the innovation element and transforming that into scalable products, platforms, and business models. The one thing which we identified was that there are many programs that are available for early stage startup companies. The support that's available through the Business Gateway, through Scottish Enterprise, and also within the kind of tech scaler. But one of the things which we were looking at was how do we actually start to focus in on creating a pipeline of new products, applications, solutions, and services. So we've created the Venture Studio with what we call 4 pillars: challenge pillar, make pillar, innovate, and impact. I'd like to kind of touch on each of these just to give everybody an update on the other each of the kind of 4 pillars that we'll be delivering over the next next year up to the March 2025. The funding we've got is for a pilot. It's the pilot phase up until the end of March, and that's allowing us to be able to focus in on particular areas. I'll come on to the challenge in a wee bit more in a minute, but the other pillars we have is the make pillar, where we're going to be inviting individuals, companies to get the latest product and design thinking, and helping them to then prototype new kind of products within collaborative studio spaces. So we're going to be working with several companies and organizations that are within the Innovation District who are opening up their spaces to allow companies to come in and meet in amongst other designers. And within that, the outcome of this will be individuals, founders, or even businesses creating new tangible products. We're going to be launching that in September time. So, and again, we will provide further information through our newsletter of when that will go live. Our Innovate pillar is going to be focusing more on the social innovation side. So creating a cohort of supporting cohort of entrepreneurs within underrepresented groups within the city centre, focusing on helping them to develop and create innovation-led businesses that will deliver purpose and impact. So again, we're going to be collaborating with our other colleagues in Glasgow Riverside Innovation District. We're going to be combining both our efforts on a couple of programmes related to that. And again, that will be kind of launched later in September. The final kind of pillar, called the Impact pillar, is going to be focusing on existing businesses who have got revenue or who have got early stage investment. One of the things which we've recognised is that we need to help and support some of those growing and scaling companies to access the latest learning on revenue models and business models and sales and development. So one of the things we've noticed is helping and trying to give some of the founders and their teams, upskilling them on that kind of sales and business development. But what that is focusing on taking that insight and understanding on how to develop revenue models, but then converting that directly into business projections. And this is where we'll then be bringing external expertise from a corporate finance house to be able to help support those founders to develop a purpose and the deep set of financial projections. With the viewpoint that on this pillar is that the companies that are participating in this one will actually then go and seek further investment. So they've got an actual robust set of financial model, revenue model, and also corporate finances. So today, so these are the four pillars. We're not going to be talking about and focusing on the Make, Innovate, and Impact. We're going to be focusing on the Challenge pillar, which is the first pillar of the Venture Studio that we're launching as of today. One of the things which we noticed when the Innovation District was created previously, Glasgow City, as many of you know, is famous for its the development within companies developing kind of satellite CubeSats and satellite manufacturing. One of the things which we've noticed is that then the market is changing to then looking at how do we utilize the information that is available from the satellites that are in space. How do you actually take that information and actually convert it into new purposeful applications that deliver revenue and value? Some of you will have known, if you've been around the Glasgow tech sector for quite some time, that there was a previous programme that was run out of what was the old Tontine Accelerator, and that created companies like Crucial, as many of you may know, and others, which kind of set them and got them into the sector about 10 years ago. So this challenge pillar is very much focusing on developing that group, a new group of companies who will actually utilize space data at the heart of their application and product. But within that, it's not just about developing the product. The other thing that we've noticed is that what we are looking for is for companies who can develop applications, products, or services, but to actually engage directly in the market with a customer. So this is where the challenge part comes into play, where we're asking and inviting companies to be able to put forward an application whereby they bring a customer directly to the table in actually applying for this funding. So it means that you're collaborating prior to actually getting the funding itself. So let me just kind of go into a bit more detail on this. So we're working on this, and the first challenge call is the Space Data for Industry. It's the first innovation programme as part of the Venture Studio. We're working with Scottish Enterprise mission team focusing on the space sector. And over the last couple of months, we've been, both Scottish Enterprise and Glasgow City Innovation District have been working through identifying where some of the challenges are within the sector, but where are some of the opportunities? And this is where this call has come out and is being built from. So we're going to be utilising the expertise from Scottish Enterprise's great industry team. And one of the value of this programme will be that when you are going through and developing an application, if you are successful in receiving that and being successful in your application, it then means that you'll be able to access some of the wider support that is available through Scottish Enterprise through its various innovation team. So we're going to be looking at, so let's just kind of go a wee bit more deeper into what we're kind of looking for in this one. When it comes to the applications, we're looking for technology companies, that is a solution provider who can actually develop a product, a service, or an application to then come and apply with a customer. That is your challenge partner. So we're looking for you to bring forward a very tangible, innovative, market-driven proposal whereby you will be applying to develop a solution, a product, or an application which at the heart of the core of that has got space data, is driven but with space data. And I'll be passing on to Sharon, who will provide more information on when we talk about what we mean by kind of space data. The thing here is about thinking about a commercial collaboration from the outset. And that is one of the things, again, is it's not just to develop a prototype that kind of sits there as a one-off. It's about how do we actually take this to market. With the challenge customer, that is, you must apply with a challenge partner or a customer. And that's very important because this is all about being market driven. And we were asking you to come and in your application to have secured a commitment to collaborate with your customer to develop the proposed proof of concept towards a commercial proposition. So this is where you may have seen other calls previously where the challenge has already been set. In some ways, you and your customer sets that challenge yourself. And it's not this again is not any specific sector. So we could be talking, it could come from the fintech sector, it could be from energy, it could be from transport. That's up to yourselves to be able to identify that. The key thing about this funding is that funding is available for companies who are based within the Glasgow City area, and that's the Glasgow City boundary. It's not the Glasgow City region, which makes up other council areas. So if your business is located within the Glasgow City, then that's the thing that we're looking at. Your customer could also be within the Glasgow City area, city boundary. And it's one of the things which we will actually look at is that we will look favourably if both of you are based within Glasgow City. And Sharon will be able to talk about this in a wee bit more detail. As I say, this kind of funding call and everything as part of the Venture Studio is funded through City Council, Glasgow City Council and the UK Share Prosperity Fund. And it's the first time that we've been able to take funding like this and been able to actually then implement it into an actual kind of grant. So Sharon will kind of talk a wee bit more about the grant that is available But again, this is allowing, we've kind of gone through this and kind of looked at it in many different ways to make it quite open and flexible, is very much for yourselves to be creative in your proposals and proposal and development. So without further ado, I will then pass over to Sharon.
Thanks, Alisdair. Good afternoon, everybody. So yeah, I think Alisdair's given a really good summary of the kind of challenge. I'll just give a bit more detail and a bit more information around the kind of the application process and what's contained within the application process. But here I'd like to just give you a kind of brief overview of the kind of types of space data that we will consider for this challenge. So the first is position, navigation and timing, of which GPS is a good example. Others include things like geospatial monitoring of people and things, such as sat-nav, using location data from devices. The more common one that we see is Earth observation data, which uses satellite to take images of the Earth. And commonly, these images are being overlaid with additional data sets to provide useful insights for a number of sectors, such as agriculture, finance, environmental monitoring, energy, amongst many others. The last one is SATCOMs, which includes telecoms, broadcasting, comms, and IoT. We're now starting to see organisations combining and kind of fusion of a range of data sets, such as IoT and sensor data with Earth observation data, as well as Earth observation data with the likes of ground truth data. So, we're happy to look at any of these. Could the next slide, please, Alisdair? So, yeah, some of this Alisdair's already gone over, but I'll just re-emphasise. So the main applicant, so this is the technology company based in Glasgow City area, who will secure the funding. They must be a technology company and there must be an SME. The proposed projects must include the use of space data to deliver new products or new services and addressing their customer needs and challenge. And as Alisdair said before, the partner organisations can be of any size within any sector and can be located anywhere in the world. So the main driver for us here is to have companies that are seeking to commercialise their developed solutions to industry challenges and help to aid company growth and turnover. Next slide, please. So Scottish Enterprise has, as Alisdair said, been involved in this project because we have a kind of vast amount of experience of running calls of this nature. And we have teams of personnel on hand to support this effort. So therefore, we will support the Venture Studio by handling both the application and the evaluation process for this challenge. The downloadable application form, which is on the website, has got 13 sections, and there are guidance notes which will provide valuable information to everybody on how to answer each of these sections. So, but in making your application, you'll be asked to provide just an outline of things like the project details, project impact, project proposal, an outline of the technical innovation, the commercial potential of the project, the team and the resources are involved in the delivery, a project plan and a timeline, demonstrating the need for support, and a breakdown of the project costs. Now, these costs can include things like salary costs, purchasing data sets, subcontracting costs, consultancy fees, trials and testing, software, and travel and subsistence, so quite a wide range of costs. Companies, once they've downloaded their application and completed it, they will put their completed application form to inquiries at scotent.co.uk with a GCID Venture Studio Challenge as a subject line. And they save that as a PDF, and then you would send it and your company name, make sure that's on it before emailing. Applications will then be evaluated by Scottish Enterprise, Venture Studio and Glasgow City Council personnel. And as funding for the projects is coming from the University of Strathclyde, of which GCID is part of, they will contract with the successful applicants. And as mentioned previously, funding of up to a maximum of £30,000 is available for each project to support the design and development of the projects with the commercial partner. And each project must last no longer than 3 months. And as Alisdair said as well, that if both the technical company and their partner come from the Glasgow City area, they will score higher in the evaluation process. Each successful project will also be assigned an innovation specialist from Scottish Enterprise, and this innovation specialist person will support the company throughout the project period, and they'll be on hand with additional support and guidance if future funding is required after project completion. We'll also look to offer various cohort sessions for the winning applicants. And these cohort sessions can cover anything from intellectual property, collaborative R&D, raising investment, how to sell globally. The sessions will be guided by the needs of the applicants. So the winning applicants will have a kind of a hand in actually trying to shape these. All projects must be completed no later than the 27th of January 2025. And companies will then, once projects are all completed, will be offered an opportunity to pitch their project at Glasgow Tech Week in 2025. Next slide, please. So this slide provides a summary of the timeline for the call. So today sees the launch of the call. The call will remain open for applications for a period of up to approximately, I think it's 7 weeks, with a closing date of the 6th of September. Evaluation of the applications will then take place, and we'll then invite a short list of applicants to pitch their projects to an evaluation panel in Glasgow in September. We'll then be in a position to make the awards by the end of September, and all projects will then commence in early October, and they'll run for a period of up to 3 months with a completion date at the end of January 2025. The final showcase event, as mentioned earlier, will take place during Glasgow Tech Week, which takes place in May 2025. So, last slide. So I hope this short presentation has provided sufficient information for those interested and considering making an application. But please do reach out to us if you have questions whilst completing your application. But meantime, Alisdair and I are obviously more than happy to answer any questions you may have at this time. Thank you for listening.
So as Sharon mentioned, if you have any kind of questions, please do put in the chat function any kind of questions you may have. On the website, so on this kind of slide here, you'll see the kind of link that goes directly to the actual website itself. We will be issuing this slide deck directly to everybody who's registered as part of the webinar today. And certainly something which, again, any inquiries that you may have, then they will then be handled and supported through the Scottish Enterprises kind of website. So through the kind of program. So again, the way that we've designed this is very much focused on getting companies to kind of collaborate. And we certainly have seen previous programs happened in the past. So I've just seen the first kind of questions come through kind of before it is in public sector. So that's something which we've had from the customer's perspective, then we have had inquiries from the public sector. So that can be a customer. So that is quite valid. And so if the customer is a public sector organisation, then that should be fine. The thing is, you need to have a private sector kind of company that is able to deliver on that. So that's the bit where you've got to have kind of, again, it depends on who you're bringing in to develop it. If you're developing it yourself, then we would need to have a kind of look at that. But the thing is, we need to have the customer and the developer in together. So we have had one inquiry already, whereby, as I say, the customer is a public sector organisation, and we know that they may be requiring other people to be able to work on that. So the next kind of question is, can the grant be applied for if the customer is international? So yes, that's correct. Then, if the customer is international, then that is allowed, as long as the organisation who is going to secure the funding is based within Glasgow City, then that's the most important thing. So again, what we'll be doing is any of the questions that we have here on today, we'll then be updating our further information on the website, which kind of gives all the kind of information you may have. So one of the things which we were aware of is some companies may not have a customer, but certainly if you're able to kind of send us an email, whatever, then we'll kind of take note of that in case there is anybody that's looking for that. But we'll tend not to try not to kind of do any kind of matchmaking on this. Okay, so the next kind of question is, how much more favourable will applications be considered when both partners are based in Glasgow as opposed to when the customer is not? So we are encouraging, so if both are located within Glasgow City, that is the solution provider and also the customer, then that will be favoured highly, because again, that's delivering economic impact to Glasgow City, and that's something which has got higher weighting. But again, it all depends on what applications we receive, so that'll be part through the kind of judging panel. Okay, so the next question is, can it be 100% a subcontractor in the application? It'd be great to kind of understand what do you mean by a subcontractor. So so what you've got is, if you're a product developer, then you'll be seen as the actual developer of this application. So I think it's very important as well to highlight that when you're working with your customer, in some ways that you've got to understand, again, work out who's holding that IP. So what we're trying here is to try and foster that there's a commercial outcome for the customer. And that's something that's quite important that we're trying to kind of get over within this. So if your customer is taking it to market, then obviously you would be the solution provider here. So that's again allowed. But okay, so next kind of question is, I want to co-develop the solution with the customer. It could be more compelling for the customer if I can hire them under this project. Let me come back to that, Sharon. Yeah, and you go.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think it's how I see it is you're working with a customer who you're with your kind of challenge partner, and so you're working with not hiring them in. I don't see them as, we can actually think about that, but yeah, so because there is an element of you can subcontract part of the technology company can subcontract elements of the award or the kind of project. But I think I would think that with you're working with your customer, developing a solution that, for them. So, but we can have a chat about that, Soren, maybe offline. I think we can have a further discussion. Yeah.
Another
so
quick, yes, carry on, Sharon.
The next one is said, when will they be notified of a successful application? So we will, by the end of towards the end of September, we'll have the judging. We'll be inviting people in on the round about 17th of September. There'll be a kind of short list of applicants who will be invited in to present, and I would say that probably early the following week, the 20th of September, people will be notified if they have been successful.
So the next one is, can you define the term customer a bit more in that? Do they need to commit to purchasing access to eventually develop software? Essentially, yes. I mean, that's the bit where this is about working on taking it to market. So the thing here is about your customer buying a solution, and so that shows the market intent that they will actually got a commitment to actually take it to market and further invest in that between the two of you. So that's definitely kind of so this is very much is about identifying a customer and actually understanding what challenge they may have. There's got another kind of question with regards to can there be, can you apply for multiple projects with different customers? Essentially, yes. That is allowed, but again, you've got to be very, very clear that it's not competing, and it's got to be again directly kind of related to a market opportunity. So they would need to be separate. So again, it's one thing which is important is if we start to see things like two applications coming in that's got the same customer and the same solution provider, then I think that's the thing they've got to really understand about, it's not about doubling up, like trying to go for 60,000 to do that. I think it's got to be, it's two separate kind of two separate applications for two separate products. Okay. Any other questions at all at this moment in time? So as I say, we'll take some of this information, and then, as I say, we'll be able to update that as appropriately. I think we've also kind of got another kind of question here. Can a solution provider apply for multiple projects with different customers? Yes, I think that's the answer. That is kind of correct. Yeah, that's allowed. Okay, and if nobody else has any other kind of questions, I'm just kind of looking. Oh, okay, we're just kind of getting another kind of question coming in. Just kind of looking through this. Thanks for the President. This funding call will support the development of space data, architecture, service products. Any element the call will not support, for example. So it's a good question. I think we probably we need to kind of articulate that in regards to when it comes to like space data architecture, services, products, solutions. It's all about kind of solution development. Again, utilizing kind of space data. So the one thing would be is that if we did see anything that is which does come out as being something that is so there is some guidance on, for instance, the funding can be used for things like gambling, so like a gambling application. So there are restrictions on the use of public funding for certain application development. So again, that's something which we would need to be. I think we would be able to provide. We'll update the kind of FAQs and also further information on areas that it does not support. But a good question to ask of. Okay. And yes, the presentation will be shared afterwards. I'm just going to another question, and we're just kind of going through this. Yeah, so obviously our colleague Kevin from Scottish Enterprise has provided some further information on that, and that is the main thing is to articulate where the demand is for your product and the customer, but a requirement for you to undertake some R&D to meet that demand. It is an important thing that kind of Kevin highlights there is we are looking for it's again like any other R&D kind of product development. There should be a market demand rather than necessarily an idea. So we'll be looking for you to articulate where that market application is and where that customer sees that application in their needs of their business.
And maybe one thing, Alisdair, just to highlight, is that we wouldn't be asking the customer, their customer, for anything in writing from them to say, when we get the kind of articulation of the demand from the technology company and and what the challenge is, but we wouldn't be asking for the customer to actually provide evidence of that as well. We wouldn't be looking for written evidence from them at this time for the project. I think that's maybe making that clear.
Okay, so we're saying would the application be considered favourably? We wouldn't be, so there isn't necessarily a favourable kind of aspect to that. The thing which again, the thing related to this would be whoever is developing the actual the product or solution, the funding where it goes to has to go to a company in order to be able to develop it, or that could be the customer or it could be the kind of solution provider. So there needs to be a business there. As far as whether the actual solution developer is actually an academic, then that's obviously that should be allowed. But the thing here is, again, it's making sure that there's a commercial application for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, thanks. No bother. So again, if there's any kind of other kind of questions, so this webinar will be available for, as I say, for anybody who's not been able to make it today. We'll be able to kind of share the link to that as well. And so over the next the next few weeks, whilst you are developing and considering this this call, then we'll be open to be able to take any questions and ask any other ones that are in any further detail. But again, it's great that you're showing interest in this. It's the first innovation program that we're launching, which is great, and it's certainly something which we're already hearing that some great applications and products that are potentially being developed. Okay, so if there are no more other questions, then I think we'll close the webinar today. But thanks again very much for your attention and your time, and we look forward to you putting forward an application over the next couple of weeks. Thanks very much.
Thank you.